What is happening, guys? Welcome back to Redbeard's Garage, and this is the Road to Horsepower. In the last episode, we saw some pretty impressive gains. We jumped from our Stage 1 Plus kit to our Stage 2 kit from EC Carburetors, and you can make sure to check out all these links for these parts in the video description. They do help us to continue to do these Road to Horsepower videos. But we saw some good number jumps over the Stage 1. We saw 10% more torque and 21.5% more horsepower, and then over stock that was 51% more horsepower, and that was 24% more torque overall. So we're getting some pretty good gains, and I think we're going to see that with this video as well, going to our Stage 3 kit. The Stage 3 kit is basically a bigger carb, the WC22, which is a EC exclusive carb that they kind of tuned right out of the box. It's going to give you better starts, and it's going to idle better, and it's a 26 millimeter carb. So that's going to be a decent jump from our PZ22 carb. And then we're going to jump up to the Banzai cam. The cam we have in there is pretty mild. It's really close to something like a Ghost cam, which just has a little bit of lift, but all the specs for this new cam is on screen. So it's going to perform very well with that bigger carburetor. And that's the only reason we went with the PZ22 in the last episode, is we couldn't flow any more than what that carb has to offer. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to run it two ways. We're going to run it with the stock head. The Wildcat head is pretty restricted stock. It has some small ports, but it allows you to be able to really open it up and make it flow a lot. So what we did was had EC Carburetors. They ported us ahead because they do have a flow bench, and they ran it on the flow bench before and after the port job to see how much they increased it. You can see on screen the lift that they floated at, and then how much the stock and how much the ported head made and how much better it flowed. We're going to see some pretty impressive flow numbers out of this head. So super pumped, and that's why we waited to do it with Stage 3. You would see performance gains from Stage 1, 2, or whatever with this head, but we're going to see the most because we have this bigger cam and this bigger carb that'll allow us to flow and kind of match the head. So it's going to be really impressive to see what it does with the stock head and then with the performance head. Pretty easy installation on these parts. We just open up the crankcase, slap in the cam, and then the carb switch out. Then we'll run on the dyno, pull the head off and swap that and run it again, and then go do our mini bike run. So let's see how much power we can make with the EC Carburetors Stage 3 kit. We need to remove the side cover and slide out the cam to install our new Banzai cam. Make sure when messing with the cam that you recheck your valve lash after installation, because it will affect your valve train. Now we can replace that PZ22 with our new WC22 carb, and we're ready for some testing. With the engine still on the dyno, I'm going to go ahead and swap out to our new ported head. I'm going to use the stock head gasket. We're not switching to the thin because I'm worried about valve piston clearance with that rod putting that piston at zero deck height. Again, make sure you check the valve lash if you're messing with the head or the cam on one of these engines. Now we're ready to see what this thing will make with the new ported head.
Good night, you freaking took off like a rocket. So we're at the limit of this frame. If you've watched our videos for a while, you know that the Trailmasters have rubber bushings in the frame, in the engine cradle and the swing arm. It is absolutely, this is too much power for it. It's already skipping teeth and flexing the frame out. So we'll have to upgrade that before the next road to horsepower. Freaking like a hot rod Lloyd coming to pick area up. Yeah, it's like a 5 horsepower gain from last time. Pretty mean though?
55.
55, that's a huge, that's 7 miles per hour.
Yeah, I bet when you do the time difference, it gets up there way quicker.
Oh yeah.
It was sweet.
Yeah, it was like, oh, I couldn't zoom fast enough to catch you. Alright, we got hit with a snowstorm. So let's see how our old mini bike handles it. Look how deep it is. It was like we got a foot of snow out here. Because this has the rubber bushings, you know, on rbgcarts.com we do sell the metal bushings, but because it has the rubber ones, it's skipping the chain too much, which this shows you Where this Wildcat is right now is the absolute, it's actually over the limit of what a Trailmaster stock can handle. So that's going to need those bushing upgrades pronto.
All right, so we saw some massive gains with stage 3, which we knew we would, because your head is where you make the most of your horsepower. As I was growing up, my dad always said the head's where you make horsepower. Of course, it helps to have like a big bottom end, and you know, there's no replacement for displacement. There's still a lot to be gained in the head, and that's what we've seen with this. Basically putting that bigger carb but letting that head flow more and putting a higher lift cam is what achieved these horsepower numbers. So if we look at our horsepower numbers from stage 2 to stage 3 stock head, we gained 15% more horsepower and 3.5% more torque. So not a huge gain on torque, but that's a decent jump in horsepower. So with the stock head, we left off with 13.09 horsepower and 13.48 foot-pounds of torque. So these are good numbers though, but when you go up to that ported head, and it's awesome that EC was able to give us a flow chart with that head, that's where we see the gain. So we're going to compare from stage 2 up to stage 3 with the ported head. We gained 32% more horsepower and 7.5% more torque. Now, if you look at that versus the stock head numbers, we doubled our percentage gains from stage 2 to stage 3 with the ported head. So these are good numbers. If you look at over stock, we're 100% gain in horsepower. So we've, to the number, doubled our horsepower from stock with stage 3 and the ported head. And we're at 33% more foot-pounds of torque gain over stock. So these are awesome numbers. I mean, if you remember, we've dynoed so many engines now and did so much on our Road to Horsepower series, but we're stomping the Predator, that's for sure. And we're gonna take this to stage 5. I can't imagine what we're gonna make out of this engine at stage 5. I would like you guys to guess in the comment section below and let us know what you think will end up at stage 5 with this engine horsepower and torque. And maybe if someone gets it right, we'll send you out something. But this is some awesome gains. So Lonnie drove this bike, and actually with stage 2, we was seeing the chain start skipping some teeth. If he got out in the field and was really romping on it, he would hear the chain skipping. Trailmaster is notorious for those rubber bushings, and the new Coleman bike is as well. Once you get to around 10 to 12 horsepower is all it takes for those bushings to start flexing. The problem is the engine and jack shaft is on this cradle that has rubber bushings. And as soon as you put power to it, that rubber starts flexing and it allows the sprockets to come out of alignment and it skips teeth. That's why on rbgcars.com we made billet bushings to replace those rubber ones. You do have to do a little elbow grease, cut the factory ones out, but once you replace it, you never have to deal with it again. It's a one buy type deal. You buy it once, you never got to mess with it. So we're going to have to do that to this Trailmaster frame before we move on, because we was even doing it in stage 2. It just wasn't as bad. Now it's really bad. Lonnie couldn't goose it right off the line, or it skipped. He was skipping teeth all the way down the road. And we did listen to your comments. Everybody said to buy, I think it's called the Draggy GPS unit that does, like, it'll do your 0 to 30 and stuff and really keep up with your times. So we have ordered it. It is on its way. Thank you guys for everybody that let us know. I knew there was something out there. I just could not remember what the name of it was. And I'm tired of relying on these phones and stuff. We need more accurate ways to test this. So unfortunately, we've already did all the stages on this engine, so we can't go back and test it. But we just need to put the phone for now in screen so you can see the phone screen instead of relying on screen capture. And that's where it messes up. The stock engine, we don't have the numbers for it, but we got a new stock Wildcat coming, and we'll retest it. Then we'll be able to compare numbers on 0 to 30 miles per hour. So let us know what you think about this build. I think it's awesome. Make sure to check out the links in the video's description. All the EC links are down there. EC is an awesome company to be partnered with. They know so much about horsepower, and that's what we started this channel to, was the reason we started it for, was to give you guys information as we learn. We're not acting like know-it-alls. There's still a lot we need to learn, but we're giving you the information that we've learned through trial and error and through doing this stuff. And EC is the awesome company behind the scenes that's helping us figure all this stuff out. If we have a question, we don't have to worry about if we're going to get a correct answer, because EC has those answers. So make sure to check out those links. Support EC, because they're the reason you're seeing these videos. So give them some love, and thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know what you think about Wildcat Stage 3 with the ported head. She's a hoss, and if you guys are at meetups, you'll get to, you know, play around on the bike and stuff and really feel the power. So we'll see you on the next one on Wildcat Stage 4 coming real soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. We love you, and God bless.